Now, White Dragon Miniatures have been doing some amazing stuff, and this is for their new-ish range, which is called Courage in Conflict, I think it's called. I can't remember now. Man, I'm losing it. Courage in Contact, that's what it's called. And this is a new set of options for both the Taliban forces and the British if you're going to be fighting out battles in the Gulf and that kind of thing and across the Middle East. So for the Taliban forces, they introduced some new stuff. So you've got two sets of troopers on bikes. So you've got one with just a standard rifle, and you've also got one that's touting an RPG. So if you're going to be trying to set up kind of ambushes and that kind of thing, you've got two options there. As well as that, they've designed 5 different sets of Taliban fighters, all with very individual sculpts to them. So if you want to use those as part of your sort of insurgent group or something, you've got some really good options there. I think there's 3 pictured in the article there, but as I say, there's 5 on the web store. The cool thing about that, which I thought was really good, is that you could almost give, as like a games master in a game like Spectre Operations, some sort of incomplete information. You could kind of describe the target that maybe has the intel that your British soldiers need, and then you actually would then have to sort of work out who it was from looking at the models on the tabletop, which I thought would be a really cool idea. But all of the Taliban fighters have their standard AK-47s and that kind of thing, but they've also got things like rocket launchers, grenades, and all kinds of things like that as well. On the British side of things, they introduced 2 vehicles. So they've got the Foxhound, which is the sort of truck that you can see there. So good for getting your soldiers into the heat of the action, and then it's also mounted up with 2 machine guns, so you can take control of the situation and make sure they don't get shot at too much when you're in the heat of it all. And also they've designed a couple of quad bikes as well. So a little bit like you would have seen for the Taliban, you've got some guys there that could be sort of like ranging up into better positions to get a good shot at the enemy, like you can see there with the guy with the scope and all that kind of thing. Or you could just use it for planning out a little bit more of a diorama vignette kind of thing as you're sort of carting around some trailers full of equipment and all that kind of thing around a base and all that kind of thing as well. So some very cool stuff from the guys at White Dragon. It's all 28mm, so if you want to get stuck in and play games, as I say, like Spectre Operations, you've got some really cool options there. So
I'd be tempted to go full Saving Ryan's Privates with this. Remember the bit at the end where they have the Kettenkrad and they use it to lure the tank into position where they can take it out. Yeah. So you have the British on the quad trying to pull the Taliban's ambush into their ambush, the ambushers.
That could be cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, this is interesting to see because we're seeing more of this, more modern sort of militaries and insurgency fighters being brought to the tabletop. And it's really cool to see because it's a very different style of combat and tactics that you're going to be playing out in these games.
Well, there've always been ones kicking around. I mean, the Serbian and Croat forces, along with NATO, there's companies doing that. I think it's one of these things where these days it's easier to get your word out compared to 10, 15 years ago.
A fair point.
So you're just seeing a lot more of it. But
I think for a lot of people there was an element of accessibility to it as well. I think for some of those older games they were maybe a little bit more crunchy than they are, but I think there's been a lot of companies that have come out now with rules like Skirmish Sanguine and that kind of thing, where they've kind of developed it so that the rules are a little easier to get into, and then obviously from there you can sort of blow it up and decide exactly where you want to go with it. I think one of the core things about this, and it's something we've talked about in the past weekend, or actually with Jana and Dawn and stuff as well, is that I think these new modern games very much promote that idea from the past of having a games master in control. So you can have like a lot of co-op games and then someone controlling everything that's happening at the table, so you can throw some interesting sort of elements at those players when they least expect it. So like helicopters coming down, Black Hawk Down style and that kind of thing as well. So yeah, very cool.